The Rainbow Friends Play Place is home to many secrets. Once a bustling hub of laughter and joy for children everywhere, it is now the home to the colorful abominations known as the Rainbow Friends. Each one of these strange beings has a tragic tale of betrayal behind their creation. Stick with us as we reveal the true story of Minecraft's Rainbow Friends. We start our tale with a man on the run, Alfred. He's being chased through the halls of the Rainbow Friends Play Place by none other than Blue. Blue is the strongest of the Rainbow Friends, and due to his size, Alfred has underestimated his speed. Alfred tries to lose Blue through the winding halls, but is interrupted by the sudden appearance of Green. Green is blind, and so cannot actually see Alfred, but one false step could lead to Alfred's demise. Thankfully, he's able to avoid Green, but his loud footsteps still prompt Green to follow his trail alongside Blue. As the two of them chase Alfred, an alarm bell begins to ring out throughout the halls.
Great, not now.
That bell signifies that it's supper time. The ravenous alligator creature known as Orange springs to life in his cave and is let loose throughout the facility. Alfred knows it's only a matter of time before Orange sets upon him, so he needs to act fast. Orange may be small, but he is incredibly fast. Normal hiding places like cardboard boxes won't work to avoid his wrath, so Alfred ducks into a nearby vent. He watches as Blue, Green, and Orange pass him by, unaware of his location. Alfred breathes a sigh of relief, but it is short-lived, as he hears a labored breathing coming from behind him. He turns around slowly, only to come face-to-face with the vent-dwelling rainbow friend himself, Purple. Purple pounces upon Alfred as his life flashes before his eyes. The story of the Rainbow Friends truly begins when an idea came to Alfred as a child. He didn't have many friends of his own. In fact, he had none. Instead of going outside and playing like a boy his age normally would, he sat indoors and used his imagination to dream up some friends of his own. This kept him occupied, but also helped drown out the noises from the other room. His parents were arguing loudly, and while little Alfred couldn't hear exactly what they were saying, he could tell it was about him.
The boy's strange. Sitting in his room all day, talking about those pretend friends of his. It's unhealthy.
He's just a child. Let him play pretend if he wants. He'll grow out of it.
Alfred wanted nothing more than for his parents, for everyone, to just leave him alone. He knew he was different, and he didn't care. All he cared about were his drawings, his creations. He had already come up with their designs. Blue, the leader. Green, his right-hand man and trusted friend. Orange, the rascally comedic relief. And Purple, the hardcore ninja-like master of deception. They were so real in his head that he imagined them coming to life right then and there. As if in response, the Rainbow Friends burst from the pages, standing in front of the boy, their creator.
Hey Alfred, we can't wait to play with you. Yeah, you just need to bring us to life for real.
Okay, I will. I promise. Even if it takes me my entire life.
The Rainbow Friends were satisfied with this answer, but the subject quickly turned sour. The Rainbow Friends could hear Alfred's parents arguing in the other room too, and this made them sad. Alfred couldn't bear it any longer. He told the Rainbow Friends about how he just wanted to be left alone. He wished they would stop arguing.
Well, why didn't you just say so? I can help with that.
In Alfred's imagination, Orange opened up the door and walked right into the kitchen. Alfred's parents were nearly too stunned to speak with what they saw.
What are you doing?
Just calm down, okay? Let's talk about this.
What Alfred saw was Orange pouncing upon his dad, tearing him limb from limb. Alfred was completely emotionally disconnected and just stood and watched as his father was killed before his eyes. His mother backed into a corner, terrified. When the deed was done, the Rainbow Friends were gone, and Alfred himself was left standing there alone. His father was on the floor in front of him, and a knife was placed to his side. Alfred looked to his mother for some sort of consolation, but was only met with a look of shock and fear. She screamed and scrambled to her phone, calling the police. Alfred tried to calm her down, to let her know that it was just his Rainbow Friends. They made a mistake. He brought them to life. Maybe he can bring back Dad too. Anything is possible with his imagination. But his mother wouldn't listen. She ran into another room and locked the door shut behind her. The police arrived shortly after and took Alfred away. All he could do was shout, "It wasn't me, it was the Rainbow Friends." But his cries fell on deaf ears. As a juvenile, Alfred was admitted into a mental health facility to try and help him work through his delusions. He met with a psychoanalyst that tried their best to understand Alfred. Despite their best efforts, Alfred could not conceive of a world without them any longer. Blue was sitting right next to him. How How could they not see it? His stay in their care only furthered his desires to make his fantasy a reality. During his incarceration, Alfred further honed his skills as an artist, with his illustrations of the Rainbow Friends having become truly lifelike. On his 18th birthday, following several years of no incidents and good, if not slightly unhinged behavior, Alfred was released. He made no effort to contact his mother. That part of his life was over now. He only had one goal, and he knew just how to see it through. Alfred's father was a successful businessman and very well respected in his field. While there were rumors, the nature of his passing was kept secret. Therefore, when Alfred arrived at his late father's place of work, his family name got him through the door one day and hired the very next. While employed, Alfred learned the keys of running a business from the industry vets. He worked for this company during the day, gaining the business savvy he needed, and at night, he devoted himself to the other aspects of his plan. He already had the necessary artistic talent, but he was a novice when it came to the science required for his scheme. This was a hurdle at first, but one of his Rainbow Friends had a solution.
Just hire some research assistants. The community college has a lot of potential victims, I mean helpers.
Alfred liked this plan. He could use the college science students to gain access to the lab on campus. His father's will left him a sizable inheritance, so money was not an issue. Not yet anyway. So he got to work posting advertisements for the position, and soon he had a full team. He paid them well and they worked around the clock. While his ambitions often seemed scatterbrained to the team, they were happy with their paycheck and dedicated to realizing his vision. Thus, the first prototype Rainbow Friend was created.
I want you to be my error.
It was a catastrophic failure. A real friend, Alfred knew, had to have humanity. A cold, heartless robot would never be enough. Regardless, Alfred went further with the next step of his plan. He needed to construct a home for the Rainbow Friends, a play place. Leaving his researchers behind to continue their work, Alfred began a construction project, which was a gigantic undertaking. He spared no expense to make the play place look exactly like what he has pictured in his head for years. Every detail had to be perfect. He went through each room of the facility and meticulously critiqued every fine detail, with his Rainbow Friends appearing over his shoulder, giving their advice and suggestions. The construction workers were confused, but they did as they were told. By the end of it all, the play place was impeccable, but Alfred was completely out of cash. But this was a part of his plan. He knew that if he got the friends and the play place right, then droves of people would pay to come and see them all. To that end, he needed to go in and check on his scientists. When he arrived back at the lab, it was in total disarray, and there was no one left standing. Alfred rushed to the security recordings to find out what happened. What he saw shocked and amazed him. Apparently, one of the more maverick researchers took it upon herself to use her own body as a test subject. Panic set in among the others, but it was too late. She had transformed into an abomination and began to lay waste to her friends and colleagues. Alfred was stunned, terrified, and ashamed of what he had brought into this world. But once again, Blue appeared in his imagination and offered guidance.
Don't be sad, Alfred. This is a good thing. We just need to work out a few of the kinks.
You're right. This is how I will make you all my friends. But there was no time. The play place had to open, or else soon Alfred would be completely penniless. And so he compromised. He hired actors to wear crude Rainbow Friend mascot suits. They were not the real thing, of course, but seeing them come to life still filled Alfred with some amount of joy. After giving them their unique roles, Alfred was ready to open the play place. He used his business connections to spread the word, and opening day was a huge success. Parents brought their children from all over to see the delightful, colorful characters. They danced, they sang, and they looked oh so lovable. Soon the money came flowing in. Alfred had become a successful man, but still he couldn't help but feel like a failure. Blue once again appeared to him as he watched his mascots dance.
They're now your friends.
No, but you have to admit, they're making people happy. Blue did not take kindly to Alfred's response. He disappeared, and Alfred was left alone. Despite his feelings on the matter, the playplace's popularity only continued to grow. That is, until Oddworld opened up just down the road. Oddworld was an amusement park with rides, games, and all manner of fun. The Rainbow Friends and their simple gimmicks couldn't hope to compete. Guests stopped showing up, and soon, the money stopped flowing. Alfred was unable to pay his mascot actors, and so they too left. Alfred was once again alone and without friends. At this moment, he knew that he had to perfect the technology he had cast aside. It may have turned his researcher into a monster, but he was smarter than them all combined. He knew that he could accomplish anything as long as it was to bring his friends to life. And so, he set himself to work. Day after day, night after night, he toiled in his lab until he had done it. Or at least, he believed he did. Now he just needed a test subject. Luckily, there were all manner of people looking for a job. He identified the perfect candidate as a single man living completely alone named Bob. Bob had been hunting for a job for months and was desperate to pay rent. When he got the offer from the Rainbow Friends playplace, he jumped at the chance. Alfred met Bob outside of the playplace and began to give him the tour. As they got deeper and deeper into the facility, Bob started to get an eerie feeling. He had heard of this place before and thought it was a successful business, but this place looked abandoned. Regardless, his unsettling feelings were cast aside by the promise of the paycheck. Alfred eventually brought him into his lab and began showing him the equipment. Bob was eager to begin work and get paid.
So, when do I start?
Right now. Alfred pushed Bob into a machine, which sprang to life in response. Bob's body twisted and mutated. He grew taller and his skin became a brilliant blue. A crown formed atop his head as he stood tall, breathing heavily. He had become Blue, the first of this batch of Rainbow Friends. Alfred was overcome by joy. Blue, it's really you. I've done it.
What have you done to me?
But Bob was not the Blue from Alfred's imagination. Not really. He was a human being. A human being that Alfred had tricked, and he was angry. Blue broke out of the machine and began to ransack the lab, trying to get to Alfred. Alfred ran as Blue continued his rampage. Eventually, Blue cornered Alfred. In an act of desperation, Alfred commanded Blue to stop, and to his surprise, he listened. Something compelled the beast to follow Alfred's orders. Alfred began testing the limits of this control, having Blue carry things for him, sit when asked, and even speak, like a dog. Alfred reveled in his power, but Blue was not so happy. To calm Blue down, Alfred promised that he would return him back to normal, as long as Blue helped him create the rest of his Rainbow Friends. Blue reluctantly agreed as the two of them formed an uneasy partnership. The first order of business was to rebuild the lab and recalibrate the machine. Once that was finished, Alfred began his search for suitable new candidates.
Let's see. Yes, this will do nicely.
Alfred tricked others just like Bob. First, he promised a blind man the gift of sight. Desperate to see again, the man followed Alfred directly into the machine. He was the easiest of all to trick and was made into the creature known as Green.
What is this? I still can't see! You've made me into a monster!
With each Rainbow Friend created, Alfred grew to expect the struggle. Luckily for him, he had Blue on his side to serve as muscle, which quashed any dissent. Next up, Alfred targeted a man who had an extreme appetite. He felt that he would be perfect to embody his friend Orange, and so he invited him to a grand dinner. The man engorged himself on everything presented to him. He was truly insatiable. Alfred decided after the 7th course that enough was enough and used Blue and Green to strong-arm the large man into the machine. The man's body was molded into the alligator-like form of Orange. The monster was still hungry, however, and wouldn't be controlled in the same manner as Blue and Green. A strict feeding regimen had to be set up, using a bell system. If Orange wasn't fed on schedule, there'd be chaos. But as long as he was satiated, then he could be controlled.
Keep it coming, Alfred!
The next Rainbow Friend was Purple. Alfred envisioned him as a sneaky type, and so he encouraged a thief to break into the playplace through entrapment. When he arrived, he did not find the score he was looking for. He was chased by Blue, and then Green, and then Orange. Doing all he could to avoid the monsters, he ducked into a vent. There he came face to face with Alfred himself, who quickly knocked him out and dragged him into the machine. Purple was born, and with that, only one Rainbow Friend remained. Red. Alfred began his search once more for the perfect candidate. Only the Rainbow Friends had other plans in mind.
Okay, everyone, get ready.
Time to make him pay.
The Rainbow Friends confronted Alfred in his lab as he was working. He asked them what the meaning of this was, but they only approached him slowly in response. He ran out of the room, with Blue hot on his trail. Green soon followed suit, and then Orange. Alfred eventually hid from his pursuers in a vent, but this time Purple was waiting for him. Purple knocked Alfred out with a blow to the head. He awoke in the machine he had used to turn them all into his friends. What is the meaning of this? You're my friends.
You're looking for someone to turn into Red, right?
We just want to help you is all. Who better than you? Come on, boss. It doesn't hurt. Oh, wait. Yes, it does.
Alfred tried to command Blue to let him go, but being backed by the others filled Blue with confidence and gave him independence. Blue activated the machine, and Alfred was made into Red, the last rainbow friend. He walked out of the machine, filled with rage at what they had done to him. Until, that is, he looked around. There he was, amidst his rainbow friends at long last. He knew then and there that this would be the start of something amazing.